Hey everybody, welcome back. So, yeah, I know I made 2 videos yesterday morning, but you know what? I feel like doing another one. If you don't like it, well, fuck you. Basically, first off, yes, let me say I'm actually in a hideaway room back here. So yeah, something different from some of the other videos if you look. So, today I have a special guest here as we are going to do our WrestleMania predictions. Now, for those of you who don't know, I do live in New Jersey, and because of how old I am, I was around for the first 2 WrestleManias in New Jersey, WrestleMania 4 and 5 in Atlantic City at the Trump Marina. And for me, this is awesome because for me, as the theme song says, they're coming home. The New York, New Jersey area is wrestling territory. You have so many independent promotions here that I wish that they would do more WWE shows, more TNA shows. I wish the Japanese companies would come over here more. I wish WXW Germany would come do some shows over here. But anyway, I'm rambling on for a different video. Let me introduce you to who I have. My brother. Um, if you ever seen some of the other wrestling reviews, he is in them. So, but same thing. We grew up with professional wrestling, and we're basically going to do what we think is going to end up happening. Um, we're going to discuss what we honestly think is going to happen at Mania. Go through the matches. So, you ready? And we'll discuss that too, but we'll discuss that on a later note.
That'll be for the end of the video.
So anyway, I'll take that as a you're ready.
Sure.
Okay. So first we're going to start off the pre-show, which will be here on YouTube. Um, First off, let me say we're hopefully going to be able to watch WrestleMania through Xbox, which we have. Um, Hopefully we'll figure out how that works, and you and I will be able to sit down and actually, for the first time in God knows how long, watch a WWE pay-per-view that's not on DVD.
For the record, too, my first WrestleMania I'll be watching live.
That's true. You've never gotten to see a live WrestleMania.
Nope. I'm
So
supposed to go
you
to
finally
20.
will.
Supposed to go to 20, but got screwed out of it because I was sick.
So, okay, so we're going to start. The dark match, which will be the YouTube match, will be for the Intercontinental Championship as Wade Barrett takes on The Miz. My personal bet is I think The Miz is going to take the belt from Barrett. I think The Miz will and has been in the past made a better champion than Wade Barrett has. And well, I think, first off, let me just say I'm actually a fan that they brought back the old school Intercontinental belt that I grew up with.
Well, growing up in the more modern era of wrestling, haven't really seen that belt much, but it's definitely a change from the normal. I definitely agree that the Miz is gonna win just because the Miz just has so much hype around him now, and Barrett doesn't carry himself like a true champion would. He's you know,
Well, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he doesn't carry himself as a real champion would. I just think that, you know, for someone like him, I just don't personally think he makes a good Intercontinental Champion just yet. I mean, yeah, he's been in the business now for a while, but, you know, I just don't personally think him with the Intercontinental Championship is a good thing.
he's not like the mid. He has potential to be a headline name, not a mid carder, or even in this case with WrestleMania
A dark match.
exactly.
I'll agree with you on that. I mean, like, I have nothing against Wade Barrett. I think he's a great worker. I mean, think about all the workers you and I have seen on the independent circuit. I mean, even some of them could. I mean, some of the ones we actually know, I think would be a better dark match than Wade Barrett. But
Yeah,
But anyway, we digress. So I mean, both of us are going with the Miz over Barrett for the to win the Intercontinental title. Um, the next one, now mind you, the main card matches we don't actually know the order that they're going to be in. So we're just taking I'm just going to read them off. I got them off of Wikipedia. So I'm going to go backwards with how Wikipedia had them listed. So first is going to be the 8-person intergender, basically the intergender Octomicos match. By the way, anybody who's watching this who doesn't realize, I will explain. An Octomicos, being fans of Chikara Pro, if anybody watches it, you'll understand what an Octomicos is. Basically, for those of you who don't, an Octomicos is an 8-man tag, an 8-person tag, in this case an 8-person intergender tag. But still, it's a intergender Octomicos. Where it's going to be Tunzo Funk, which, by the way, don't you own like rights to that as like your backyard wrestling going into indie wrestling name? It sounds like so close to yours anyway.
Sounds really close. Tunzo Funk and Tunzo Fun, I mean, very, very similar.
Can we call gimmick infringement?
I would love to sue Vince for as much as I can get.
But anyway, Tunzo Funk and the Funkadactyls take on Rhodes Scholars and the Bella Twins. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of wanting to see this match for a different reason, and that's all the nice tits and ass that's going to be in this match.
I'm a taken man.
This is probably the only time I can say that when it comes to professional wrestling, because you know how I am. I'm a Joshi fan.
But I'm a taken man, so no. Not whipped. I'm not whipped. You're just jealous. You know.
Anyway, once again, we're rambling on for a different video for a different one of my pages, but see, I think this one's going to be hard to call, but I'm actually going for Tons of Funk and the Funkadactyls. Although the sad thing is, I could see Rhodes Scholars and the Bellas taking this one too.
I have to go with Rhodes Scholars and the Bella Twins because you know, from everything that's been happening, Rhodes Scholars is definitely a rising team, and the whole combination of Tenzai and Brodus Clay, you know, it's a very interesting idea, but they're ripping off Too Cool.
No, you know what? I don't think they are to an extent. Although there is one thing: best call my mama.
Somebody call my mama. Anyway.
Oh, God. I wonder what Shelton Benjamin's mama thinks about all this, because technically she was the first mama who got called in WWE. Although, actually, no, technically it would have been Mrs. Hart.
Yes, but, okay, on to the next match.
Well, to finish it up, so basically, we're both taking different teams for this one. Like I said, I'm taking Tons of Funk and the Funkadactyls, while he's taking Rhodes Scholars and the Bellas.
Vince McMahon owes me money.
Gimmick infringement.
Vince, if you see this, I want my money.
Oh, God, what if he does watch this?
I'll get a fat check from Vince McMahon saying, fuck you, here's my money.
Or he'll sue you.
Sue me for taking my own gimmick, huh?
So anyway, the next match will be Chris Jericho versus
a very popular movie.
You wanna try to say his name correctly?
His name is Fandango.
Hold on, let's try to say this together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fandango.
Did you ever get your movie tickets?
No, what about you?
No, what about your Dodge Durango?
You know what, I'm still owed that too. Pay up! Anyway, you know what? This is actually something that we don't know, because you figure here's the newcomer in Fandango. We really haven't been able to see what he can do.
He's never wrestled a match.
We've seen him Pearl Harbor people, but that's, to me, Pearl Harboring someone, you don't actually get to see what their wrestling ability is. I mean, although the sad thing is, I'm still picking him over Jericho. You know, only because the way I'm seeing it is Jericho is basically gonna put over the newbie, you know, to give him a name. And, you know, I think WWE is going to do what they've been doing with a lot of the young guys and try to push them sometimes too fast. I mean...
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like whatever happened to paying your dues in this business, but...
But anyway, we digress from that. My pick, I'm gonna go with Jericho. I mean, he is Mr. WrestleMania.
Actually, that's Shawn Michaels, but
But still, Jericho has made quite a name for himself with WrestleMania.
he has.
And I mean, he's fresh back. So
It can go either way. I mean, we'll have to see how developmental does it. So anyway, that's 1-1. Another 1-1. Um, so now we go to the next one, the no holds barred match. And well, speaking of Mr. WrestleMania, he'll be in the corner of Triple H as he takes on Brock Lesnar. And if Triple H loses, he's done wrestling. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a hard one. I mean, Brock's got Paul Heyman, which, by the way, are you a Paul Heyman guy?
I'm still a Paul Heyman guy.
I've always been a Paul Heyman guy.
But
although I hate Brock with a passion, even when he was in UFC, I fucking hated him.
This one,
but I digress.
This one, I'm gonna have to take Triple H.
As am I.
Lesnar is another one of those people that haven't seen him wrestle.
Lesnar's too full of himself too. That's the thing.
We haven't seen, or I personally haven't seen, Lesnar wrestle.
No one's seen Lesnar wrestle. He's been in the UFC, where, in all honesty, he had no place being.
Well, I mean, he did do a couple pay-per-view matches.
Yeah, but even still, it's like...
But I definitely see Triple H going over because, I think he has to redeem himself from last year's WrestleMania versus Undertaker. I mean, that was one hell of a match, but...
Although I personally don't think he has anything to redeem himself with. I mean, that was one hell of a Mania match.
It was, but, I mean, it's more of a pride thing at this point,
I'll give you that.
Lesnar's broken his arm and broken Shawn's arm and went after his father-in-law. So, it's a pride thing at this point.
It is. I'll agree with that. So, both of us are taking Triple H in this match. So, the next match that I have listed for the WWE Tag Team titles, first off, let me say this. We're going to talk about another belt later, but is it just me, or is whoever designing these belts in WWE, just falling asleep on the job?
They're getting really lazy. I mean, I like even when there were still the two separate belts, the tag team belts on SmackDown and then the World Tag Team belts on Raw.
Even the World Tag Team titles on Raw still had a look to them. It wasn't just three circles and let's call it a day.
I mean they had more intricate stuff in the main plate and all that kind of stuff. But the new belts suck.
So anyway, the match for this is going to be Team Hell No, as they take on Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston with AJ Lee, who I know she's actually happy because she's from Jersey. She's happy to be home. I know Daniel Bryan. I'm sorry, Bryan Danielson. I can't call him anything else. The American Dragon.
The goat face.
Yeah, I mean,
as he's lovingly called.
I know he's happy to be home. Technically, even though, yes, he's from Washington, I mean, he had a lot of great matches here in New Jersey with Ring of Honor.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, he's definitely known here. And, I mean, throughout that crowd there's going to be smatterings of ROH, ROH. Hell, you and I are going to be doing that here at home.
Yeah, but with this match, I'm going to have to go with Ziggler and Big E because, yet again, it goes back to the whole Fandango thing. It's his first match ever. And, I know he's run a lot of interference for Ziggler and all that kind of stuff, but it's his first big match, and it's going to be at WrestleMania with Dolph Ziggler, I mean, who has made a name for himself, quite a name for himself in WWE. As much as I would love to see Team Hell No keep their titles, I just love the chemistry between Dolph Ziggler and Kane. That's some of the funniest things I've ever seen.
You mean Bryan Danielson and Kane?
Who the hell did I say?
Dolph Ziggler.
You know who I meant. I'm tired. Leave me alone.
Should have had a V8.
I love the chemistry between Kane and Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever the hell you want to call him. But I got to give this to Ziggler and Big E.
See, this one's hard to call. I mean, I agree. I could definitely see the titles changing hands.
You also have to figure this. Dolph Ziggler and Big E have AJ in their corner.
That's true.
And AJ has had a quote relationship
with both Kane and Daniel Bryan.
Exactly, or she has fucked over
both.
Two of the three men in that ring that she has had something with. So you know she's gonna play a crucial part in this match.
So so I think we're both gonna go with tag titles changing hands. I mean, would I like to see the title stay on? Hell no, of course. But we gotta wait and see.
Now the next match is definitely one of my favorites. It's the Streak.
No, that's not it yet.
Not it
We're
yet?
not on the Streak yet.
Yeah, I forgot.
There's still 2 more matches before the Streak.
Yes, there is. Shit.
Don't get too ahead of ourselves now. That's my job anyway. The next match is actually Ryback versus Mark Henry. 2 big men going at it. I mean, this almost reminds me, you weren't alive yet. You weren't even a glimmer in Mom and Dad's eye yet. But I still remember Wrestlemania 1 when it was Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd in the Body Slam Challenge at the Garden.
You gotta take a break from wrestling. Everyone, go drink Monster. It is the shit.
Cheap plug. Why not? I did it constantly with Mountain Dew.
And smoke Marlboros. If you're 19.
We're the epitome of health here at Wrestling Review. If we had the bottle of absinthe, I'd show that off, but anyway.
Story for another video.
Anyway, though, I'm actually taking Ryback with this one. I just think he's a beast, and it kind of goes back to everything else so far with this Mania. I mean, it's a lot of the young guys taking on the veterans, and Ryback, he's had a lot of big shots, but he's never come through on pay-per-views. Here we go. We're at the biggest show of them all, the granddaddy, the Super Bowl of professional wrestling.
But I'm gonna have to go with Ryback too. I mean, Mark Henry, he's a seasoned veteran in this company, in this business, and I mean, Ryback, he's still pretty new to WWE, and all the hype around him. He is a fan favorite, and with Vince McMahon's new thing of he doesn't want the kiddies to go home crying, he's gonna push over Ryback.
It'll be something to see, though. I mean, that's actually one of the matches I can't wait for, without a doubt. So we're both going with Ryback for that one. Now we go to a trios match. Again, if anybody doesn't follow Chikara or doesn't know Lucha Libre, trios match is very simply a 6-man tag, 3-on-3. In this case, we have Sheamus, Randy Orton, and Big Show taking on the Shield. Now, it's actually funny. You actually have a very funny story about Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley.
It's actually pretty funny. About 4 years ago, when Dean Ambrose, or as me and him know him, Jon Moxley, was still doing the independent scenes. I'm that guy at independent wrestling shows that has no filter when it comes to yelling shit at...
Unless we're at NWS or Chikara.
When it comes to yelling things at the wrestlers, I'm cursing him off, flipping him off, telling him, fuck you, his entire match. And
you pissed off some guys with that, too. Namely,
Nick Gage.
Nick Gage. We miss you, Nick. Or at least I miss you.
Went outside for a cigarette, and, out comes this guy, and he asked me, he's like, hey, do you have an extra cigarette and light? I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I had him a cigarette and light it up. I'm like, did you just wrestle a match? He goes, yeah. And fuck you for cursing me off the entire fucking time.
But, it's funny. Like, I know at least 2 of the guys on here. Dean Ambrose and Tyler Reigns, I think it is. Used to be Tyler Black, or... I still know him as Tyler Black, but CZW and Ring of Honor are actually coming together, which is pretty cool. So, my prediction is very simple. I've got 6 words to say it. Sierra, Hotel, Indigo, Echo, Lima, Delta. Yes, I did the phonetics. I'm taking the Shield.
I'm gonna go with him on the Shield. I mean, they are such a dominant force right now. They're triple power bomb. If they were able to do that to the Big Show, and he's a big man, if they can take out Orton and Sheamus, there's no stopping them.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I mean, I've seen Ambrose even on the Indies take out guys, maybe not as big as Big Show, but pretty damn close. I mean, Samoa Joe, guys like that. It's crazy. Now you can set up this match.
Finally, as I jumped the gun before, this is definitely going to be one of my favorite matches, as well as almost every other fan of wrestling. It's Undertaker versus CM Punk, so the streak is on the line.
Now the only thing I will say is this: Punk more so than Taker. Punk has very big shoes to fill after last year's Mania with Triple H and Taker.
Yes, he does, and I might not agree with some of the stuff that he was pulling, especially stealing the urn and making fun of Paul Bearer the night that WWE was remembering Paul Bearer. Um, I honestly think that Punk has the better chance out of any of Taker's opponents so
I'm not
far.
gonna lie, I think this is the perfect matchup for this Mania. I mean, especially if it does. Every year we say this now. Is this Undertaker's last hurrah? And to an extent, he's beaten just about everybody else. I mean, every other huge name in the business, he's beaten. And I mean, the only other one that I would have loved to see at Mania, like I would love to see next year, but it won't happen, would be Undertaker Hogan at a Mania.
That'd be a good
Only
match.
because the two have wrestled before in WWE back when it was still WWF, and Taker actually beat Hogan for the belt back in like 1990, 91, and
Now,
that's I seriously think that would be the one match for him to go out on, if not this.
but I definitely have to give it to Undertaker. Keep that streak alive, especially being in New Jersey. Second biggest gambling city is in New Jersey.
You figure
next to
literally
Vegas.
not that far. You figure if you as soon as you hit the Parkway, if you go straight down the Parkway South, you go right to Atlantic City, and well, you're taking Undertaker. I only have one word for this match:
Blackjack.
blackjack. I'm saying Taker's going 21-0. Taker's going to go blackjack, and if
If CM Punk can pull this off,
if Punk can pull it off, this will be the Mania match of all times. But once again, he's got big shoes to fill after the Hell in a Cell last year.
Now the whole thing, about this being the first Undertaker match at WrestleMania in the past couple of years that has no stipulation to it. That could play a factor too, because Punk's been going on about how if Taker gets disqualified, he loses. If he gets counted out, he loses. I wouldn't put it past Punk to have someone run in and hit him to get Taker disqualified. I would not put it past him.
Neither would I. I mean, I didn't even hear those stipulations, to be honest. These are new to me.
They're not stipulations. It's a normal match. If Taker gets counted out, he loses. There goes the streak.
True.
He gets disqualified. Taker loses. There goes the streak.
True. And you figure Heyman's going to be in Punk's corner, so I mean, there's another factor that's going to play into it.
I mean, the only thing I could see happening is because of the fact Paul Bearer had passed away quite recently, and the fact that Kane is going to be at WrestleMania as well.
I could see Kane being in his brother's corner. I really could, just out of respect for Paul.
Even if not in the corner, if Heyman tries to interfere,
or anybody else for that matter,
I could see Kane coming down and taking care of that. And if Taker wins and gets back his urn, I mean, I would personally love to see the Brothers of Destruction one last time in that ring. Maybe not wrestling, but I would personally love to see them both get down on one knee and pay their respects to Paul.
which is exactly what they tried to do before Punk interrupted. Um, so we're both definitely saying that Taker's going to get Blackjack.
Oh yeah.
So now we go to the next match, which is the World Heavyweight Title match, as Alberto Del Rio with Rico Rodriguez takes on Jack Swagger with Zeb Coulter. Now, that's actually my thoughts on Zeb Coulter anyway. I mean, personally, I don't think Jack Swagger is one of these guys who needs someone like Zeb Coulter. I don't even personally understand this gimmick that they're going for with it.
I mean, I do. Jack Swagger's always been the all-American American. So, you might as well go out and get someone who's a war veteran to have in the corner of the man that's America.
Eh. But you know what? I just think the whole thing is going a little too like KKK-ish, personally. Like without it being the KKK, it's. I mean, I don't know. It's to me, like I said, I just don't understand it. But all I know is I'm taking Del Rio to retain the belt in this match.
With me, it's up in the air. It could really go either way. 'Cause, I mean, Ricardo, he's on crutches, so he's not going to be an asset to Del Rio, while Swagger is going to have.
But to the same extent, you say that, think about the big lucha libre population that is in WWE right now. I mean, yeah, the only two guys you can really name are Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. But I mean, I know back in Mexico, the three of them had like a really good connection. I mean, Rey Mysterio still back when he was Colibre, um, Sin Cara when he was still Místico. I mean,
But yeah, that match is up in the air for me. I don't really have a set pick.
all right. So you figure we've got at least one Del Rio and one up in the air.
Yeah.
Now we go to the Big Daddy, the WWE Championship. The Rock defends against Cena. Now, once again, we were talking about belts before. Same thing. I think whoever came up with the design for this belt, if you end up watching this, can I say this? Get an imagination.
I mean, it's coming to the point where it's sad. If you really take a look at it, the faceplate of this new WWE title, exact same faceplate of the old
Of the United States title belt.
Yep.
I mean, it's I'm not gonna say god awful, but it's too. For me, it's too much bling. In all honesty, I mean, yeah, I know there's a saying there's never too much bling, but this to me goes above and beyond. I mean, come on, even the NWA title, which is one of the still to this day, if you ask me, one of the most prestigious wrestling titles in the world. It's got the diamonds on it, but it's not.
Not flash.
Exactly. It's basic, which to me is what professional wrestling should be.
But for this one, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, I'm gonna go with Cena. I mean, just thinking of it now, with The Rock holding the title belt, Disney now owns part of World Wrestling Entertainment.
Oh God, Mickey Mouse and Vince McMahon together. God help us. It's the apocalypse.
I'm gonna fuck everyone over.
Why not? I already make the girls with JJ's tingle.
God, I love some part. Anyway, not only because of the fact, like I said before, with the new way Vince is going, where he doesn't want to send the kiddies home crying with Cena losing. It's just that, The Rock, he's put wrestling, I don't want to say behind him, but he's definitely put it on the back burner to
to me, it's the whole thing of the second I start to hear for movies, not even The Rock, but Dwayne Johnson. It's like, okay, how much more can you step away from wrestling than starting to go by your real name?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, in this world of professional wrestling nowadays where kayfabe doesn't exist, 90% of your fans know what your real name really is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like we all know Undertaker's real name is Mark Callow. You know, we know John Cena's is like John Felix Cena or something like that. You know, we know Shawn Michaels is Michael Hickenbottoms. You know, we know Triple H is Paul Levesque. You
We know
know,
that Kane is a dentist when he's not working.
really?
Kane is a dentist.
No, I knew that. Isaac Yankem DDS, from back in the day. But you know, same thing. As much as I hate to say it, you know, they're gonna put the belt back on Cena. I see that happening. If they don't, I'm gonna be shocked as hell.
Now, there's one thing, if Cena does win, I hope he sticks true to his word about, not changing the title, because
I don't know. See, this is probably the one time when I want to see that spinner belt come back, and I fucking hated the spinner belt.
I was gonna say I fucking hated the spinner just because originally when Cena was still the Doctor of Thugonomics, not this gung ho GI Joe Cena. That's what I think of that. But
I second that.
even when it started with the U.S. belt, when he created that spinner belt, I mean, yeah, it was a good idea at the time because it was something different. But then turning the WWE Championship into a spinner belt as well, the WWE Championship was world known as it was. And to me, he just defaced the name of World Wrestling Entertainment by making it a spinner belt. And then even Edge, the Rated R Superstar, when he had the belt made it the Rated R belt, I mean, it was better in my opinion. I mean, it didn't have this ginormous, blinged out WWE logo. But, it was still not needed.
Yeah, in all reality. But so both of us are going with Cena for this one. But so there you go. I mean, those are our predictions. Those are our thoughts on the matches.
Glad to see WrestleMania back in New Jersey, but
I mean, like I said, you weren't even alive for the first two that were here in Jersey. I was. I mean, I honestly wish that they would have waited maybe until next year because
keep it every 10 years in the New York metropolitan area.
Or I wish that they would have done it to where they go back to
AC.
New York. I mean, for next year, even if they do it, I mean, even if they say did it at Yankee Stadium or Citi Field or a place like that. I mean, maybe if they do it in Citi Field or Yankee Stadium, yeah, it'll be the Bronx or Queens. It wouldn't be Manhattan, but
well, I guess that's really it for.
Well, so what do you think is actually going to end up being the match of the night? I mean, besides probably Taker Punk. I mean, because that's a given.
I definitely think match of the night could wind up being Lesnar Triple H, just because, like I said before, it's more of a pride thing, I mean,
I actually think it could end up being the trios match. In all honesty,
it could be, but I mean,
it's
hard
to say. I mean, I honestly can't wait. I hope we can get it through Xbox, so this way we don't have to spend the money at Buffalo Wild Wings. I mean, because damn, do you realize how much it would be to feed us two fat fucks?
Yeah, especially when there's no specials on a Sunday.
Exactly. So, all right, everybody. Well, that's it. And you know what? It's Mania time, baby. It's Mania time. There's only one thing I can leave with. Not that.
Damn.
And that's oh, WrestleMania, fighting for what's right, just like that, just like that. As he walks out the door. All right, everybody, that's been it for this. And as I leave all the time, just remember this. I'm John. This is Wrestling Review, and I will. That's my brother's belch, and I will see you ringside.